Hello and welcome to another episode of Reseller Information Network. We are on episode 31. I actually took the last week off. I was out of town. So appreciate you guys for coming and watching some of the replays. For your info, there's plenty of segments of how-to, lots of great information to be found in the how-to playlist if you like to get on board on that and just learn a little bit about each and everything that we've got going on, because we try to cover it all. It's going to take a while, so stick in there with us. We do have a great episode today. Today we're going to be talking about, we got some hot off the presses breaking news coming up very shortly. We have information about another platform that you won't want to miss. Probably not one you're all that familiar with, but one of the guys on this has great success with that. And, we have another that's he's churning along a little bit down that trail. For me and Leroy, we haven't really done it yet. But who knows? You never know what tomorrow holds. We also are going to be taking a deep dive in how to look for hidden gems at auctions. So you will not want to miss that segment. And we're also going to be taking a look at Mercari, one little piece of information that may be key for you if you're a Mercari seller. So stick around for these sections coming up, these next little episodes. We did want to jump into a couple comments. We're going to be sharing some throughout the show today, but we didn't want to miss out on a couple of the comments that were given to us. 88 Picks said, great episode. It was great meeting some of you at the 100-mile yard sale. If I were a full-time picker, I would have loaded my vehicle there, but I was super selective because I have too much unlisted inventory. Money's not really the issue. It's space and time. Space and time can be an issue for sure. Do this for fun. Anyway, he said for him, great meeting us as well. And then we have American Arbitrage leaves a little statement concerning our good buddy Commonwealth Picker. He said, if you pick stuff that sells, it's going to sell. That's a quote by Kevin Archibald Brown the 4th, 2023. Great advice. If you pick stuff that sells, it will sell. So that's a nice little, we have a few Notorious Witness left us a comment saying, thanks guys, you're so generous with your time and tips, learning so much. We appreciate you for being here. We do have the question that's going to come up about today's show from James Steinbreaker, and Tim is going to cover that here shortly about how to print our Mercari label. And we also have Old Tape Archive. I think first time commenter, we appreciate you being here, says listing or loafing, LOL. I have over 500 shirts, but over the past 2 years, I have been loafing, just like the guy in your thumbnail. By the time I get off work, whenever I'm on my feet for 8 hours and I'm searching for the couch. Just join, so you guys will likely motivate me to get off my lazy butt. So hopefully you do get motivated and get some stuff going with that. But now we've reached the portion of the show where we need to go ahead and jump into this breaking news brought to you by Cernoc.
All right, breaking news. Oh, we got the air horn going. All right, so check it out. Breaking news. Well, it's not breaking news. We already kind of broke some of it, probably a month ago. But listen, when we're doing international shipping to other countries, there's a new caveat that they had, and it just came up yesterday for me. So we read, hey, it's going to be close to what GSP used to be and all that stuff. Now, there was a little wrinkle in it where it says, returns will not be, will just automatically be dealt with, and you don't have to get the returns. And I finally had something come up like that yesterday. I kind of wanted to show you. So I got so we're going to take a look at this. I got a return request for this lot of hats that I sold to this guy, and he was in England, and everything was good. And here's the listing, and he opened up a return. It was 7 hats for $150, and he opened up the return and it said, hey, we took care of your return. We're contacting you about a return request. Your buyer has opened for the, they did blank New Era hats. And it says, sent through the international shipping. So we handled the return on your behalf. You don't need to take any action. You won't be charged for this refund. If you have any questions, please reach out. And also the other thing is they don't even have to ship it back. So this is an interesting type thing to just kind of hey, if you're not doing international shipping, hey, the returns are easy. I didn't have to do anything. So, and no money was taken out of my account or anything. So, maybe trust the process a little bit more. So that's the breaking news I had today. Hey, they took care of my return. I didn't have to do anything. I don't get any money taken out because that would have been, $150 plus shipping. So they took care of it all. So kudos to eBay.
Shout out to eBay.
Right.
We're going to go ahead and jump into our next segment, talking about how to print those Mercari labels, answering your question with our resident 7-Eleven expert.
Yeah, so there has been a request for an update on my 7-Eleven points. I haven't acquired any 7-Eleven points over the last week because I've been out of town and there was no 7-Elevens where I was. But we'll give you guys a quick little update on the 7-Eleven point status right before we print this Mercari label. We are currently sitting at 112,686 7-Eleven points. So we're making moves here. I think we could probably get to 150,000 hopefully by the end of the summer, right?
So
it seems reasonable.
Is that 711? Or is that you're just saying 7-Eleven? Because you said the numbers and then you said 7 plus 11. Is that included in the points, or is that
No, that's not included. Yeah, 112,686 7-Eleven points.
7 and 11. So 86 plus 7.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. Today, we're going to be printing a Mercari label. So we did receive a question after our last video about that we did a segment on how to list on Mercari. If you guys haven't watched that video already, make sure you guys go back, watch that video. We do break down on how to list on Mercari. Keep an eye out for a shorter version of that video that may be just how to list on Mercari. All right, so we're going to pull up our hefty second device here. Mercari can be a little tricky on how to print a label. Now, this is going to depend on if you're using your own labels or if you are using Mercari's label. If you are using your own labels, very simple. What you're going to do is you're going to copy that address and you're going to plug it into Pirate Ship and you'll purchase your label through Pirate. I actually had an order while I was on vacation, so it's actually perfect so I can pull it up and show you guys how I will print that label. Now, remember, if you haven't watched that previous episode about how to list on Mercari, you are going to have several different options as far as your label goes. It could be UPS, it could be FedEx, it could be USPS. Now, I generally use only USPS if the item is first class. If it's not first class, everything else I ship via UPS through Mercari. So we're just gonna pull this up really fast for you guys. Mercari label, and we're gonna join into the studio, right? And let's see where we have Mercari label. All right, we're locked and we're loaded here. We're gonna bring this into the stream really fast, and there it goes. Is it possible to make that? I don't know why it's like that. There we go. All right. So you can see right here that we have the Mercari order that needs to be shipped ASAP. Obviously, it was ordered over the holiday weekend. So what you're going to do is you're going to go click on View Order, okay? So now that you're on View Order, you're going to go down here, and it says Need Your Shipping Label. So what you're going to do is you're going to click on View Label. That's going to download your label as a PDF file, okay? So what you want to do next is you want to open up that PDF file. And I'm going to open that up really quick. And that's going to open up an Adobe. And we're going to go ahead and share that screen for you guys so that you can see how that worked for you. Share screen. All right. And here we go. And here is the file now. So you can see that we have the label right here as a PDF file. So the next step is going to be very simple. So you obviously you want to make sure that you have Adobe. Most people will have this on their computers already. So you're going to go down to More and underneath Edit. Then you're going to go to Take Snapshot. You're going to go like this. You're going to take a snapshot of that label. You're going to hit OK. Then you're going to go to Print. And then from Print, you want to make sure you select your thermal printer, switch it to Landscape, and then hit Print. Bada bing, bada boom, you have your Mercari label ready to go. So once you don't have to, pull all this up on a second computer to show everybody on the internet during an episode of Reseller Information Network, it actually works fairly fast. So hopefully you guys got the gist of how to print a Mercari label if you're using Mercari labels. Like I said, if you're using Pirate Ship, it's just a very simple process. What you would do is you would just go into here, you would copy the buyer's address, and then you would take that over to Pirate Ship and print it from there. So that is how to print a label on Mercari. Thank you for everybody's patience. Appreciate that. Everybody else is muted right now. There we go. We're back.
There you go. Yeah, I do know, because I remember a long time ago that we were talking about this Mercari label printing process, because it's definitely a couple more steps involved than what you would normally get if you're selling on other platforms. Just print it out. Yeah, that is a great tip about the Mercari label, and hopefully that helps you guys out if you're diving into that world. So next up, we are going to be taking a look at another selling business. Gives you more options to look at. So Cernak's going to be sharing with us about Grailed.
All right, guys, I'm going to show y'all a platform that I've been using since probably 2018. It's called Grailed. Now, a lot of people are like, everyone knows eBay and Amazon and Poshmark, Mercari. There's a few smaller stuff like, Depop and Grailed. You may have heard of them in passing, but a lot of people I talk to go, well, I've never heard of that. So let's take a look at what is Grailed, okay? So what is Grailed? Now, Grailed is a site that you can use. Now, look at it. They got a flashy site and everything like that. This is a great place to sell men's and now women's clothing. So when you're thinking about Grailed, you're thinking about kind of like more hype type stuff. Look, recently viewed, there's all my stuff right there. Look at those. Hey, last episode we talked about AI generated backgrounds. Look how good those. So they've got everything: luxury, vintage, avant-garde, Americana, Y2K, streetwear. So a lot of clothing. They do a really good job of curating. So here's like shop menswear, footwear, outerwear, top, bottoms. You name it, it's a lot of things that like I sell. Now, the thing is, I'm a little picky on what goes on Grailed because you have buyers on there that will spend up a little bit. A lot of the cool thing about Grailed is a lot of the platform is menswear, and a lot of the buyers on Grailed exclusively kind of shop on Grailed or like other sites. A lot of times you'll find that they won't go and comp it on eBay or find the same thing on eBay or Poshmark. They are straight up Grailed. So sometimes you can get a little higher prices for your item if they fit kind of in the niche of kind of what is Grailed. And then like I always say, like, the best type of thing the way to say, hey, will my stuff fit? It's like, well, take a look at what people are selling. Like let's look at let's look at tops. Just to get us started and looking at stuff like, hey, shirts. So sweatshirts, hoodie, long sleeve, short sleeve. These are all different things, and we can kind of see what's trending now. A lot of stuff is you'll see some stuff that's like really high end, like really, hey, here's a $445 jacket. But, you can kind of see what, people are selling. I will tell you this. I sell a lot of vintage on Grailed, and I sell a lot of hats on Grailed as well. Trucker hats definitely go. So, and through your cross-listing services like Vendoo or List Perfectly or Flip or whatever you like to use, this is an easy way to get some of your eBay listings onto another platform. So it's, doing a Grailed listing for me. So say I have an eBay listing, once I import it into my Vendoo cross listing, I can get it on Poshmark, Grailed, and Mercari within 2 to 3 minutes. So it's just an extra step to get more eyeballs on your stuff, especially if you're a big clothing seller. And I know some people are like, I really don't mess with clothing. Well, hey, guess what? Grailed may not be for you. But if you are into clothing, this is definitely a site that you want to take a look at, especially if you you utilize a cross. So that's why I like. That's why I like to use Grailed. I have probably here. Let's take a look at Cernak's connection and see what I have up for sale. Look, boom, boom, boom. But let's go for sale. These are all you don't want to see all my solds now, do you?
Yes, they do. Yes, they do. They want to see. They want to see the action.
But here, look, joined in 2018. So, I have a 5.0 rating, 612 reviews. I've sold over 1,200 items on Grailed. So again, now is it going to be the massive amount of like eyeballs that eBay gets or Poshmark gets? No, but you're in a smaller, more curated platform, and that's what works sometimes. Where you may have an item that is sitting on eBay, sitting on Poshmark, but that one eyeball hits it on Grailed and it's purchased. So. Let's take a little stroll. You can see like all the items that I have here on Grailed. Shoes, we got hats, we got shirts. So think about it again. I do a lot of menswear, so it's kind of a no-brainer to be on Grailed. And again, the fees aren't bad. It is kind of like Mercari and Poshmark, to where you send out the item and then you get paid. You get paid once it's delivered. So it's a really cool platform. Again, if you're into vintage, if you're into clothing, shoes, again, this year they opened up the women's wear section, and I've actually sold some women's items on Grailed. So again, if you've got a big posh closet and you say, hey, I want to pick out some of like the really cool trendy items on it, hey, go ahead and start listing these on Grailed. It's very easy to list on. It's not hard. If you can list on Poshmark, if you can list on Mercari, or if you can list, if you list on eBay, Grailed is a very simple tool to use, especially if you have List Perfectly or Vendoo or Flip. It's easy to get those listings up. So that's kind of like what I think about Grailed. I use it every day, and if you're interested, hey, I have a referral code, or may have a referral code. We'll list it down there, and affiliate link. That's what it was about. So just hit me up, and if you have any other questions, let me know.
Would you say that right now might actually be a really good time if you have some women's clothes to kind of get into Grailed, because it's so fresh and so new as of an addition to that platform, that you might be able to make some quick sales and kind of corner yourself into the market as one of the early women's sellers on Grailed?
Yes. Now, the one thing I will say is, with the women's wear, you want to go after trendy and style, and so that's what you want to do. And again, with these AI generated backgrounds I did, you're gonna want to make it pop as well. You're gonna make it definitely want to pop in your listing. So use all those tools we've been talking about, and this is a really good way to just kind of extend, getting into another platform. If you've already, done the Vendoo or List Perfectly cross posting, why not? You got to take it down off. If it sells on eBay, well, you have to take it off of Posh anyway. So just do another step and say, all right, get it off of Posh and Grailed. So it's the same thing. So it's like a no brainer. Like, why not just put it on the, put it up there. You never know if it sells. I've sold some items that I'm like, wow, some crazy high price items, just because I know the Grailed clientele. I'll give you a perfect example. And Leroy, I'll get to your question in a second. Combat boots. Okay. Dude, there's combat boots on eBay that will sell for $40-50, brand new combat boots. To put them on Grailed, I haven't sold a pair under $100 on Grailed. So it's just a different clientele. They're thinking, oh, that's grunt. They're not looking at the brand. They're not, like, oh, what's the comps on eBay? They're looking, oh, that's a cool grungy combat boot. That's gonna go perfect with my outfit. So they're thinking of more look and style rather than, oh, it's this brand and this, this and that. So, all right, Leroy, what you got?
Yeah, so I have a few questions here on this. Okay, I've never dealt with Grail. I've never even logged into Grail. I've only heard Grail about 5 or 6 times. For someone who's just getting into Grail, is there any pros and cons on the shipping that may be different? For most of us do eBay. You don't have to really get into it too much, but is there a few pros and cons? And then my next one is the payment, getting paid from Grail to your account. How does that work?
Okay, perfect. Great questions. Okay, so with Grailed, if you're looking to get on it, the first thing I say to do is go just explore the webpage. Go in every section, men's and women's, tops, bottoms, shoes, etc., and see what people are selling. See what the vibe you get from Grailed. Now the listing is pretty easy. It's basically just using all your information that you're on the other platforms, putting it onto Grailed when you're doing listing. Now, payments. This is how this. There's a few ways it works where they were on the old PayPal system. So basically, like you can get PayPal, or they're on the Stripe system, you know, where you could use credit cards, Apple Pay, and things like that. So it's really easy. You ship out your item. Oh, and to kind of backtrack on what you said with the shipping, Grailed introduced maybe this year or last. I think it was last year. Basically, you can do ship on your own, very similar to Mercari. Like you can ship it on your own, or you can do Grailed label, to where you put it in a certain certain label, and Grailed will just send you the label. So you just print it out, pop, and they just do it on the weight of the item, and then you get a label, and then you ship it out. So I do all Grailed labels just because it's a lot easier instead of like having to go to pirate ship. And the prices aren't bad for their labels. It's like, hey, if they want it, they're gonna pay for it. So it's not bad. You do have communication. People can send you messages and offers and all those things. So it's really nice. And there's other things you can learn too. While you can drop your price. So you can drop your price, but also where you can see where it says bump right here. So on one of my listings, it says price drop or bump. Now, what happens is you get a month. So every 7 days you can bump your item so it kind of goes back up into the top. And then after that month, you can do a 10%, 10, 20, or 30% price drop where that'll bump you back up there. So what I'll do is I'll go a whole month and bump it every 7 days, and then I'll reduce my prices a little bit after that, a couple months. And then you can just end and relist it if you want it as well.
That's what I was going to ask you. Do you do that a lot with Grailed? Because that's something I've never really done with my Grailed listings, and something I've kind of been looking at trying to do when I go do this major like inventory, overhaul, just kind of making sure where my inventory is, what's listed, what's not, and stuff like that. Do you do that frequently after you go through those steps of the bumpings and the price droppings?
Yes. So what I do is I can go into my Vendoo, and I don't know if List Perfectly has this, but I can go to my Vendoo and I can sort, oldest to newest just on Grailed, like when it got listed. And so then they have a system to where it's a delist relist function where I can highlight 10 items and it delisted off of Grailed and relisted on Grailed with the already built into what I have in there. It just delisted, relisted. So now it's just a whole brand new fresh item.
Yeah.
So that's something definitely that I do partake in, and because in all platforms, if you have a listing up for 2 years and it hasn't got any action, it's stale. They're not showing server space. You know what I'm saying? So relist it, go with it.
Yeah, I've looked on Grailed, but I've never listed anything on Grailed. I have the app. I have looked around, explored a little bit, but I know with the addition of AI, the addition with cross posting. Now, I guess this would be a question for both yourself and Tim. I know you both use different cross posting platforms. I know there's not an automated way where it automatically tapes it out, but say in your cross listing platform, you can delist across manually. Like, so if you went in there, you could delist it on all the platforms you're listed on, or do you have to go in each one manually and do that?
So on Vendoo, so say something sells on Grailed that I have it listed on eBay, Poshmark, and Mercari as well. So I got, usually I list on 4 sites. If it sells on Grailed, I can go into Vendoo and say, Mark is sold on Grailed. So because it has Mark is sold. And once I hit sold, it brings up a little spreadsheet saying how much did it sell? Did it sell for the price you were asking? Blah blah blah, anything like that. And then you hit submit, and then it delists eBay, Poshmark, and Mercari. Just boom, 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 boom. It delists it off. That's how Vendoo works. So basically, it's just taking that step and going pause. Every time I have a sale, I say pause, log into my Vendoo, take it off.
Can you do that on the app?
Very similar. Do you use it on the app, or is it that's web based or not?
It's both. So you have Vendoo on the computer and on the phone.
Nice.
So if I'm traveling and something sells, I can just go on the app, boom, find it, and then mark it sold, and it's gone.
Nice.
Very similar on this perfectly. Just you go to the item, you click sold, and then it'll pop up the each platform will have its own tab, and then it goes through the delist removing listing process, and then it's done just like that. So, and that's done on web based.
Yeah, that's what I was going to tell you. I mean, Flip is manual. At this point, Flip does not have Grailed available. They have Mercari, eBay, Facebook, possibly. So,
And List Perfectly doesn't have an app, as far as I know.
They don't.
Yeah, so 1-0
Right.
Cernock.
There you go. You see what it is.
On the next episode of Battle of the Cross Listing.
Yeah, it's a raise. It's a raise.
With the combat boots, take a look at it. See, these Rick Owens, they're going for $1,000. You know, so you have these designer boots that are going for crazy money. Balenciaga's got $950. But again, you come in there with a cool looking vintage boot. The buyers aren't going to want to spend $1,000 on a Balenciaga or a Rick Owens. They're like, yo, those are cool. I'm gonna rock those for $125. You know, especially. If you got undercover combat boots for $275, $125 is nothing to them, and they look the same, and they have the same style and look. So that's where I think like I go more in depth on Grailed, where it's more about the look than the actual brand.
I've got a few pair of boots. Like Cernock might be laying the pitch down. Like we need to get on board.
So
might have to change up my cross listing a little bit.
Yeah, hopefully that helps.
Yeah, there you go. Next up, we've got something special. I hope it'll help you guys out. Myself and Leroy are going to be looking at the deep dive. We did an episode before about sourcing, and Leroy is kind of the silent master behind the scenes of this next technique, the auction hunt. So, Leroy, share with us about
what's going on, guys? So, guys, you guys always hear me say I'm going to get tools. I always say, wherever I'm going, Columbia or towards Georgia or even Texas. I'm not Texas, Tennessee. And people are like, oh, well, how are you finding these auctions? And to be honest with you guys, I use the same site that I've been using for 20 years. When I say 20 years, I mean 20 years. You guys didn't even know how to spell eBay back then. But anyway, what I like to use is, it's like some of the other sites that you guys use, but it's called Auction Zip. And I go in, and you put in your zip code what you want. So here's the site. You can put in keywords, and then you'll put in a zip code, how many miles you're willing to travel, and then there'll be a list. So this is for the Saturday, June 3rd. I can go back and just show you guys, give you guys a little taste here. So here's for that many miles, for 100 miles in that zip code, there's 6 on Thursday, 9. I go for the top blue, not the online. The top blue. So I'm going to click on Saturday, which is 24 auctions that I can choose from. Okay. In that area that I had just showed you guys. Now, it takes a lot to understand different sites. Sometimes you have to go to these auctions. The ones that I look for are live auctions, guys. So they're live. They're not like, you're bidding in and then you go pick it up. These, you got to go there a certain time. You want to get early. You want to get there early, so you can get good parking, so you can get a good number. You're not waiting in line instead of looking at the items preview. And I always try to get to know the auctioneer. If I don't know that auction gallery, I'll go up to him. Hey, how are you? Just small talk, so they recognize me right from the beginning. One of the other tips that I like to use is I like to buy the stuff. In the first 5 minutes, I like to bid on something, so he sees me. It's, for me, that's very important. It's just a small little thing that I've been using for a while. Now I'm looking through these. There's an estate sale. There's a couple of different estate sales. I see one that just jumps out on me. Estate sale of the late and then Reedy, whatever their names are. You guys read them. But those are the ones that I will click on and look. Some of them are just in-house. This is going to be at the location. So we're going to go into the pitches, and then this is where Eric's going to jump in with me, guys, or Tim or any of you guys, and just whatever you see, what are you looking at? What else are you looking at? For instance, they got a car here. just
I see the Corvette.
now you see the Corvette, but you also see that red that truck on the back of it. That could be in the auction. So looking behind whatever you see, you see the Corvette, but you need to go further than that to see what else you can see in the pictures. Let's just go back
That's
here.
a big toolbox. What is that? Is that a sign or a thermometer? Two to the right of the toolbox.
The next picture or in that picture?
Thermometer.
Yeah,
It's the
those
next
are-
picture.
Yeah, there's some nice thermometers here, man. This is a killer auction.
Okay, yeah. Okay, so you were looking at that. Yep. Yeah, I mean there's a lot here. And so you'll look, so me and Eric were talking about before about, oh well, where is when you go to these houses, these estate sales and stuff, where is such and such? Okay, well, look, pay attention. This grapple, there's a brick wall behind it. So when you go and you're looking around, where's the brick wall?
Yeah.
Where's the brick wall? When
That's
you're
where
out?
that one thermometer's at. The same. Like you can start grouping some items up by location.
To know. I mean, this isn't an estate sale where you have to buy price by price. This is actually an auction. But still, you got to pay attention because I've gone to auctions where there's a whole hidden room. When I say hidden, literally, guys, you go in the bedroom, you go in a closet, and then there's a stairway. So you got to pay attention to where the stuff is and what you see behind it. That is like so important. And Tim, you see some glass and some lamps. I don't know, what you are looking at. If I'm going too fast, please let me know. If there's a picture you want me to click on, Tim.
There's a lot of stuff here for sure. It looks like some old beer cans too, furniture, pots and pans.
Yeah, that's some cast iron right there. Behind.
Cast iron, but then you see
That
behind
yellow lantern that's sitting there,
Yeah.
like looking off to the side.
see behind it. Then there's some pots and pans there. I actually see a shaver. That's a tool right there. So you guys are looking at that stuff. I noticed that tool right away. Can you guys see that? Did it enlarge for you guys?
The shaver that's second
Yep.
picture down in the
No, but I have it enlarged on my screen. I don't know if it's enlarged on yours.
Nah, you gotta go share this tab up top.
Oh, okay. So the can, the cans.
Click on that dresser mirror right there. That picture right there. See if you can put that large. What is that behind there?
That's what I'm
Is
trying
that a
to.
blow mold?
I don't see glow. It looks like it's in red cellophane. Let's see. It's Christmas. If I zoom it in, I can zoom it in. It's like a Christmas cellophane in cellophane. But that's what we're trying to explain to you guys is when you're looking at these pictures, when you're doing online sourcing, you gotta look beyond. You gotta look. I'm gonna go one further. Those Coke cans are in front of that glass thing because I'm looking in the mirror. If you look in the mirror, you could see those Coke bottles that were just in another picture. Like you need to pay attention to what the surroundings are at these auctions. I do want to jump in.
Whoa. There's some t-shirts right there. I already seen Cernak, like his ears started perking up. Roll back up a little bit. Right here.
Yeah.
Right there.
NASCAR
Two in
stuff.
the middle.
Yeah, so NASCAR shirts. Yeah, right there in the middle, right there.
What's that one that says like County Fair or something?
Yeah.
Ashboro, North Carolina or something like that.
So I'm zooming it open. Is it going bigger for you guys? No.
There,
it's
look
not.
up the top. There should be one that says share this, whatever. Do you see it?
All right, let's see. Yeah, I don't know where I am. All right, here we go. Let's try it this way. Can you see it now?
No, you'll have you have to go back and share the entire screen.
But a lot of NASCAR stuff. NASCAR stuff.
Yeah, a little die cast, some signage. Yeah. Now this is a state auction. So Leroy, I'll just be honest. Like I've never been to a in-house estate auction. Like
Okay.
I've been to an in-house estate tag sale.
Yes.
Ooh, what's that right there?
What is that jacket?
There's some jerseys down there.
See, that's a Winston jacket. That jacket's really nice.
That jacket's sweet. And he's got
Basketball jerseys.
Bulls. That's Jordan and the Bulls and Jordan and the Wizards right there.
And here's another thing, guys.
Got a little Chris
Guys-
Webber Kings right there.
You guys see how old the stuff is in just the NASCAR stuff. So when you come over and you look at these jerseys aren't new. I'm going to tell you that right now.
Yeah, oh yeah.
I'm going to tell you right now, these Jordan jerseys, and they might be their kids, but they're not new.
Yeah.
It's not something that somebody just bought at the flea market. I'll tell you that right now. Oh, look at the baby blue. Oh, you see that one? The North Carolina stuff?
Yeah. Little Mike Vick jersey there. Ricky Williams down there. Who's
Now
that?
here's the cool thing about this is here's the great thing about like what I perceive from this is they picked out some of the cool clothing, but there may be more clothing in them closet that they have no idea about. You know
and they just put that in a box and it'll be under the table. It'll be under the table. Yep.
So that I'm using the context clues. I see older NASCAR. You know, this is a place I would probably want to go to.
Oh, I see some glass, Tim.
Yeah, I do see a little ruby red glass there.
Now, can I go? You guys want me to continue in this one sale?
What are those old dolls right there? Like, all right.
Right there, they look like wrestler. It's Woody and some Bobby doll stuff.
Oh yeah.
So there's a lot here, and like Cernox said, you don't know what else they can only list so many pitches. I think some of these can only be about 500 pitches. So where's the rest of the stuff? You know, these auctions, I'm going to give you a little rundown from talking to the auctioneers myself and dealing with this site for so long. These auctions, you notice there was 2 names on the estate. So none of this stuff really goes to the family. They'll pick out a few things, but legally, they're not supposed to touch anything. When a lot of these farmers and these type of people, their house is in an estate, okay? And so what happens is it goes to an attorney. The attorney hires an auctioneer, and everything gets auctioned off. There will be times where you're bidding against the daughter, and she's going to pay to the sky because it just comes off the money she's going to get anyway. But a lot of this stuff is not really touched. You'll be in some of these, there'll be gold, there'll be guns. What happens is the whole estate gets put over to the auctioneer, and then the family gets their cut. Unless it's left in Eric's name, Eric gets my what, or Tim gets my baseball cap. If that stuff's not listed out, all this stuff gets taken care of through the attorney and through the auctioneer. So that's why I love these auctions, because it's not like they have ones that are consignment. This is one whole house, okay? You guys, we see from glass to tools to collectibles. These people spent a lot of money. Sometimes even the property as well will be in these auctions.
Yeah, this is like, now is this a past one or is this a?
No, this is coming up.
This is coming up.
Yeah. So can I click out of this, guys?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm gonna click over. Okay. So we're gonna go into
That's an Ashboro, North Carolina.
Yeah. So this is where it is, and then there'll be like a written laid on. So it tells you the Corvette, a public auction. It'll give you some of the terms and conditions. Held on site. You want held on site. That's very important. Held on site for me is what I'm looking at. And then it will just give you a list of certain items. It will tell you towards the bottom. If you have a tax ID, you don't have to pay taxes, but then you also have to pay an auction fee.
So what's the difference between the auction fee and the buyer's premium?
It depends. I don't want to be wrong. To me, it's the same.
Yeah.
To me,
because I saw at the top here, that's what I thought too. I saw at the top it said no buyer's premium.
So there isn't. Yeah. Okay. So there isn't
right there.
So there isn't any.
That
so
means
you're not paying any. You're not paying 10% on it.
Yeah.
It's straight up. And North Carolina is one of the only states that has that.
Now,
most of the states there is a buyer's premium.
Can I say something about this though? Too?
No.
if you've never been to an auction though before, you have to understand this is going to be an auction.
It's all day.
So
yes.
It's going to be an all day affair. So this isn't going to be, I'm going to pop in and do this and that. No, if this is something that you're going to have to invest your time and your money in that, to where you got to take a budget, select some items, know where those items is. You probably have a time that you can go look before the auction.
Yeah.
So I would say if this is something that, people out there want to do, make sure this Saturday right here, this is the only place you are going. 500 items, that's going to go from 9 a.m. to probably 5 p.m., 6 p.m. It's going to be an 8 to 9 hour auction.
Some of them are a little quicker than that, guys. But yeah, he's right. It does go all day. I set myself a budget and I set myself a time. And if it's not in my time and it's not in my budget, then I ain't getting home with it. It's as easy as that. We're gonna go I just want to go to this one here. So here is personal property of Buster, and that's in North Carolina. And then this is a Leroy. Now, this is what I like to see. So you see the one with the so you guys I can't click in and show you.
If you click on it, Leroy, like does it open it up in a separate
It does
picture?
for me, but not for you.
When you look up top, it says sharing, like under a window, it should say sharing, and it'll say stop sharing or view tab. If you hit view tab, like if you're clicked on that picture.
Yeah, I do, but then I can't control it. So I can't scroll it up and down when I put view tab.
Yeah, it would pull an individual.
Now, right? Let's see. What do you see now? Nothing.
I see the same thing.
Yeah, okay. So I'm not sure how to do that, but if like you could see like massive stuff behind stuff, that's what I look for.
Mm-hmm.
But Sonak brought up a very, very, very good point. You have to make sure you understand it's not a sale; it's an auction. So you're there minimum. You're there a minimum of 3 hours.
Hey, are at those auctions you go to? Are they auctioning multiple spaces at the same time?
It depends how big the auction is. Sometimes yes. Sometimes there'll be 2 auctioneers at once.
Yeah, like I have been to there's one auction I go to that has box lots outside, and on the inside it's like kind of the higher dollar stuff.
Yeah,
and they're running them simultaneously, so you kind of have to bounce back and forth if there's something you're looking for to see where it'd be important to know where they're at. I like the setup of this one, and I understand why Leroy's saying it is what it is, because more than likely this is going to be a group auction. Like they're going to be
box lots. When you see one single item in a picture, I'm good with that. That for me and Eric and Sonak, like we buy bulk, guys. I'm not when I go to these auctions.
I'm not ones and twos. I never am ones and twos.
Yeah, I don't do ones and twos. I'm buying box lots. I show you my tickets.
I call it hedging my bets. That's what
I'm buying 20 lots of stuff, not just 20.
That's why I have death piles and garage sales. That's
so, but if anybody has any questions about auctions, please feel free to.
Do they ever list tag sales on there, like auction, like estate tag sales? Are they listed on there as well?
They do. They have storage units, property sales. So I just went into the estate sales, the on-site estate sales. But you can find property sales. You can find all different stuff on that website. And when I tell you that's the only one I use, that's the only one I use. And Eric's been here, and anybody else has been here will tell you Leroy has a lot of stuff, and it's because I go to these auctions. I go to the flea market, but like any of the online auctions, I don't do any of them. I just do estate auctions. I'm gonna go one more in a little bit, guys. We were joking around. Eric was saying about me being near a post office. You guys don't realize I've been focusing on this for a long time. I was a union laborer, and then I knew I was getting out of the union, and I was moving down south. Why did I pick Spartanburg? Because I looked it up on Auction Zip, and I saw all the auctions I can go to all week long. Okay?
Right.
That was number one. I did look up post offices, and this isn't even a fib, Eric. I looked up post offices where I was going to be. There was a couple of post offices within a couple of miles. I looked up flea markets because I sell at the flea market. How many flea markets are in that area? Listen, I'm going to tell you guys, you say, oh, well, I don't really have any of that stuff in my area. Your husband or wife wants to go on vacation, right? When you go on vacation, look it up first. Oh, we could go to the beach, but near the beach there's an auction I'm going to go to. So you go to the beach with the kids and I'm going to the auction. Like Auction Zip is something that you can go on and find where you can go to a funeral and then be like, hey, there's an auction that night or the next night. I can stay another night and it's a huge auction. I could spend $1,000 and I can have enough stuff for a month.
Yeah.
I'll breathe now.
Great tips. Like a lot of people don't realize, because when you hear auction these days, I mean, used to all auctions were in person. Now, when you hear auction, you automatically think online auction. Online auction is an entirely different animal than being there. You can actually touch the stuff. You can look at it. You can check it out. You can make a more educated decision. But also, there is like people that may fall in love with the item. The danger of being at online.
There's shocks.
Yeah. There's
They got people staged out in the crowd, and they got little old Pete, and he's gonna bid against you just to raise the price.
Yeah.
And what you do is the next time something comes up for him, you hit him a couple times. He's gonna leave you alone. And then if they don't leave you alone, you step to them. Because I've stepped to people. Trust me, you don't know me. I've stepped to people. I walk up to, excuse me, can I ask you a question? Why every time I bid on something, you're upbidding me? Oh, no, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. Devil is a lie.
Watch out, Leroy at the.
So here's your tip of the day. Don't bid against Leroy.
No, but you have to, like, and I jumped in because I get excited about this, guys. My passion is tools, but I've been dealing with auctions forever. And but the thing is, like Eric said, you go in person, but you got to be in person. It's different because you got live people you're bidding against, and you got to be careful because they'll upbid you. They'll watch your tempo, but you also got to know your cutoff. When I go shopping with these guys, I bring a certain amount of money. When I go to an auction, I don't bring no other cards, no nothing. There ain't nothing else going on. I got $200. I'm spending $200. If it's $400 or $275, I better hope I can sweep the parking lot because I ain't got no money.
Well, here's the other thing, and this is just my last little tip about this. If you have the opportunity to look up items ahead of time, like by using auction, like for me, when I go to the auction, I bring note card, and on the note card, I'll have this item, and I'll have my max. Like this is as much as because I know where the room is at. Like that's the thing with an auction. If you can look at the pictures, get enough information, and then honestly, like, okay, so we know because when we comp, like, doesn't everybody do the same thing? Like we get excited, we look at the highest price, we're like, look at this. This thing sells for $100. In reality, it probably sells for about 75. So like, don't get too crazy. Like comp the highest, comp the worst case scenario. That's what I do. Like worst case scenario, I'm gonna get $50 for this item. That means I'm only like. I'll just tell you, I'm cheap. Like that's top for me is probably $5. $5, I'm out. Like, sorry, unless it sells right now. That's the other key. Like, if it's a sell through rate that's high enough that I'm like, yeah, I'll probably sell this within a week or two. Then I'll go ahead and maybe $10, maybe. Like it's one of those things because in auction, like that isn't standard. Like the no buyer premium, you're paying another 10% on top of whatever you bid, typically. So just be aware of that. Searching the auctions. But it's a great tool to go and look. And honestly, the other thing, hang around to the end of the auction because you might get a little extra.
Oh, not a little. See, I can't hang around to the end of the auction because I'll end up with a truckload. No, I leave all the time at like noontime because I'll end up with too much stuff.
You never know, man. You could walk away with what's left for $100. Like you never know if you're able to deal with it. Hey, let's jump into a couple questions before we get out of here. This is a question that's near and dear to my heart because I honestly love to haggle. I just do. It says from Silver Fox Finance, what's your thought on paying their price for the first item and then haggling later? Second part of that question is rub their back, they rub your strategy. Any thoughts about that?
Well, yeah, it's called breaking the ice. Sometimes you got to break the ice. And, if you're with a group of guys by the name of Reseller Information Network, somebody takes a bullet for the rest of the team, like Leroy. But yeah, no, it's part of the strategy. Sometimes it always just, it depends, every situation is going to be different. I think after you go to so many yard sales, you kind of have an idea of what this person is going to be like, what this sale is going to be like to a certain extent, obviously. But I mean, I still think the bundle is the way to go. Now sometimes what you can do is maybe you ask somebody, the price on something and they tell you that price, right? And then you can not necessarily just pay for that item right then and there, but you can be like, all right, well, what if I throw this in? You know, like sometimes you don't necessarily get to go directly to the, hey, I'm just going to make a pile. You know, sometimes you got to get that first thing in there and then build your pile moving forward from that position.
Yeah. Anybody else got any thoughts?
Yeah, like usually when I get to a yard sale, I kind of like check out the vibe, like what's the vibe like? And like we've said in past episodes, I like to listen to what other people are doing. Are they getting a deal? Like, they said like, hey, how much is this item? I'm like, oh, $10, like, and they say, and the other person says, well, hey, would you do it for $5? And they agree. Now you already know, hey, there's some wiggle room. There might be even 50% off because that was 50% off. Do the quick math in your head, and it's like, well, maybe there is, some negotiation. Are they in love with their stuff, or are they just trying to get rid of it? Because I'll tell you, my last garage sale, I was wheeling and dealing. Hey, would you take $5 each for all these things? Yeah, make a pile. So it's all those things. Yeah, just kind of like look, listen, grab your stuff. Because here's the thing: if it doesn't work, or if it does, you can always put it back, or just all right, take out this item, take out this item. So yeah, definitely just kind of like see what's happening. And my thing is, it's like, hey. Sometimes, though, if I've got an awesome item and I know what it's worth and they give me a low price, I'm grabbing it. You know what I'm saying? I'm grabbing it and moving it because you never know. You never know, because I've had this happen, and I know this happens out there to other people. Other people like to ruin your buys sometimes.
Yep.
There might be a guy standing behind you going, oh, man, you know how much that's worth? It's like, what? So, hey, sometimes when the buy is good, no haggle, cool, thanks, boom, pack it up, throw it in the car. So
yeah. Or if the price is like super low, I'll just keep buying stuff. Like, you know what I mean? Like if I know I have a 20 and the price is low and I know there's a couple like fast sellers, I'll definitely just keep buying stuff. It's tough because you gotta feel people out. I will be the first one to tell you guys, I get discouraged quick. So if somebody says to me a price and then I try to counter on a price and then they give me a snotty attitude, I'm out.
Yeah.
Go ahead. I got a friend that somebody gives him a high price. He's going to stay there and bring the rest of the bags up from the basement until he gets what he wants. And me and Cernak are out. We're going. And Eric's going to just sit there and he's going to keep trying to make that deal work. So sometimes you can't give up. I'm going to give up. And Cernak, I'm going to tell you from my experience with Cernak, on some stuff, he gets upset like I do, and he's going to walk away.
For me, I'm like, challenge accepted. I mean, I have been ran off before where there's just nothing. But, I did give this guy some advice in the chat or in the comment, and I actually said, for me, I usually do try to bundle if I, because a lot of times you could buy one thing or you could buy 5 things and pay the same amount. Like if it is like Cernak said, if it's something I know that's gold, dude, I'm not putting it down. I'll walk around like that's one of the things that I will do. But then I also told him, like in a long-term situation, like, okay, so if I roll up on a sale and I see this guy's got a ton of stuff and I hear the words like, yeah, I got a lot more, I may actually pay up a little bit more on that first purchase to open the door to something bigger.
Correct. Yes.
That's something for me too. When it comes to yard sales and garage sales and negotiations with people, for me, I do look at it like I'm a chess player and not a check. Like I'm definitely trying to find an angle, some kind of way to get where we can both benefit from it. I benefit by getting a good deal. You benefit by getting rid of the stuff. Like that's gonna make it a little money. Like that's where I try to be. So I negotiate a little different than some people. When that lady said that you could hit the road, I just leaned back in her chair. I'm here to stay. We're gonna come to some kind of agreement. Me and Cernak put too much sweat on that basement floor.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, if you're out there picking, yard selling, just be observant, like these guys said. Be observant, listen, and don't be afraid to ask. What can they say? No. I can tell you, if you ask and shoot them something low, they might respond with something you don't think. I think when I went last time to Raleigh and I picked that area for something we were out there for, and I actually rolled up to a sale. This guy had all his video games out there, $10 a piece. $10 a piece. I like a big tag out there, and they weren't great games. They were just games. And but time and place mean a lot, right? So it's 10 o'clock. It's past prime. Like we're kind of moving towards, and I rode up and the guy said, and I was like, man, I looked at it, it's like $10 a piece. And I turned to walk away. He's like, hey, we're negotiable. Cause sometimes if I see the prices are high, like I'm like, okay, well, probably not much here. That was the only thing at the sale I'd be interested in at all. And he's like, we're negotiable. I said, well, I'll just tell you, the price I give you, you're probably not going to like. And he's like, well, hit me with it. I was like, $10 for everything on this rack. He's like, it's probably 20 games. They're Wii games. They're not great. I paid 15 for everything on the rack and rolled out.
Because you gave him a reality check. So
yeah.
His price was $5 each. He hasn't sold them
$10 each, man.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'd give you $10 for all the games on this rack. No, but and that's just his strategy. I could talk about yard sales all day. We obviously don't have the time. But yeah, I do appreciate your question there, Silver Fox Finax. We do I got another from Silver Fox for Leroy. It said listed around 5 vintage USA leather wrapped handle hammers in the Diamalloy and Duluth 10 snips for 30 to 40. Haven't sold any in 8 months. Any tips?
What you're gonna know if you guys watch this show, or if you're new with this show, I got a little slogan called "Price it low and let it go." Change your picture. Try the pictures that is it IA or AI?
AI.
Try maybe an AI picture. Change your price a little bit, or change your category. So you can go in the category it's in. You can go in and you can change your category a little bit and try it in that category. It's still a hammer, but then try it under woodworking hammer. So that's going to throw you in another direction. Sometimes eliminating words that are in your listing is a little bit better. Sometimes eliminating, not saying like if I'm selling something and it's like a rigid, like, and it has all these numbers and everything, I won't put them in. I won't even put the model number in. If they're looking for a rigid pipe rudder 278, they're looking for a rigid 278. So all the other stuff, I don't put it in. I'll put other stuff, the color, the size, stuff like that. Switch it around just a little bit. Nothing crazy, but sometimes you just gotta move different category and change your heading and put some different pitches. Don't go crazy doing it, but anything will sell on eBay. If you paid $5 for it and you're trying to get $35 each and you haven't sold it in 8 months, put it for $15. Take the loss and go buy something else so you can learn on that as well.
Hey, for me, the one little suggestion I would give, if you have multi-quantity, take an L on that first one. Because if you price the first one a little cheap and you sell that one, now you can raise the price and you've got history. Like people will look and maybe if you get a positive review on that first one, then you got the stars. I stole that from somebody else, but it's it's all free here. So use that if you need to. Like if you've got 5 or you said you had 8 or 9 or whatever of that item. If you got a few of them, man, just let one go for cheap and see. Then you can start moving that price up to where you wanted it to be. But if you bought it cheap enough, price it low, let it go. Let's go, right?
Yep.
All right, let's get one more and then we'll call it. Ooh, this is something near and dear to our hearts recently. Charity Faulkner says, after putting my store on vacations, sales were slowed for a while. You guys ever experienced that? Every time.
Well, I actually listen. This is the thing. I think we talked about it right before I went on vacation, and there's ways to kind of get around the actually putting your store on vacation. Now, this is just eBay only. I think this is something I might touch on in a future episode. Is the different platforms of vacation modes. I think that'll be a nice little deep dive for a future episode. But with eBay, I think the big thing is you just want to not necessarily put your store on vacation, but extend your handling time. And then as the days go past, you can lower your handling time until you get closer to back to what your normal handling time was. Now, this is not going to always work for everybody, but I will tell you that what I did was, even if it was 2 listings, 3 listings, 4 listings, I drafted a bunch of stuff before I went on vacation. And I did a couple of listings in the morning when I first woke up, before I ate breakfast, and then maybe a couple of listings in bed before I went to bed. just to kind of keep the activity meter pumping in your eBay store while your handling time is extended. I think that would be the best way to do it. Now listen, in hindsight, I'll tell you this also, that there's going to be a million and one things that people are going to say about eBay stores and the algorithms and the vacation and then the slow sales and the summer slowdown and this and that. And it's there's no rhyme and reason in my book, right? Yes, there is the basic foundation of, if you got a list, right? I think we've all agreed that is a basic foundation. But I mean, like, if you spend so much time worrying about the algorithm and worrying about what people tell you is a good thing to do and not a good thing to do, and you lose the goal of your job is to list and to sell things. Not everybody's going to buy everything every single day. You're not good. There's going to be days where you have bad days. There's going to be days where you're going to have good days. There's nobody out there that sells $1 million every single day, every week, every month, no matter what. Like that doesn't happen. No matter how many YouTubers will tell you otherwise, it's just not how it works. So I think the main thing is just to have a routine, a rhythm, and stuff like that. Whether you're on vacation or not on vacation, don't get caught up in the hype too much. You know what I'm saying?
For me, I plan my vacations to where I'm leaving on like a Wednesday or Thursday, and I know I have until Monday. That's the way I always plan my vacations. This isn't a game to me. This is my job. This is my passion. This is my hobby. This is my everything. So I put a lot of thought into this stuff. What I do is I'll change my handling time for the first day. The second day, I change it another day. The third day, I put it back to my normal handling time. I also put my store on sale while I'm gone, so I can keep getting sales. Even though it's less money, I'm not listing, but I'm still doing something with the algorithm, whatever that is. But I will tell you, the last time I was with these guys a couple weeks ago, a month ago now, that Sunday we were coming home, I had 20 sales in one day, and I hadn't listed for 4 days. My stuff that was the most sales I've ever done in one day on one platform. So, you just got to come up, even if you there's really not an algorithm, but there's something that you've done that works for you. Because I do that doesn't mean it's going to work for you. But if I think it works for me, I'm going to keep rolling with it. You know what I mean? So just, get something in your head, be good at that thing that you're trying to do, however you're going to do it, and see if it works. If it works, next time try to do it a little bit different to do a little bit better.
There you go. So, you got anything on that?
I mean, just kind of like what they already said. I've done vacation mode and stuff like that. I think extending your handling time, definitely works. Now, if you're on like a 2-week vacation,
yeah,
then it's like that. But if you're on an extended vacation as well, just beware though. Like if you're on a long vacation, if you do list, it will not put the new listings into vacation. Buyer beware on that. So it's a great thing to do if you're taking 3 or 4 days. But if you put it on vacation mode for an extended period of time, just beware of listing new items, because that could it can sell right away. It's like, oh crap, I'm gonna be home in 8 days type thing. So just beware of that. And here's the one thing too, if you are going to go on extended, just make a bunch of drafts. Just make a bunch of drafts. So what I would do is I would take a bunch of pictures before you leave on vacation. Take pictures of 50, 60 items, and then while you're downtime, make a few drafts here and there. All you gotta do is just put the title, picture, whatever. If you don't have a lot of time, title and picture, save as a draft. So it's getting it in there. It's giving you eBay activity as well. So then when you get home, it's like, oh, look, I have all these drafts. And then even if you have all these drafts and you got them up to completion, man, when you get home, you can be like, all right, this is live. This is live. This is live. And then boom, you have a whole bunch of listings right back when you get on vacation. So that's kind of my how I do.
Yeah, I've done both. Like I typically have extended handling time a little bit anyway. I'll extend it out 2, 3, 4 days. Anything beyond that, I put it on vacation mode. And now vacation mode ain't what it used to be. Now it actually counts down like rather than if you're on 4-day handling time, you got to remember to drop it down if you're selling less than that, and the closer you get to where you're at. But sometimes I will just tell you, like for me, when you're on vacation, sometimes you do, because like I've had times where I've sold a lot, I've had times where I've sold a little, and if you don't have that extra day, sometimes like you may be in a world of hurt when you get home, depending on what you did on vacation.
Yeah.
So give yourself a little extra time just to make sure you get your ship. That's all we got for today, guys. We're going to go ahead and close this thing down. We do appreciate each and every one of you guys. Be on the lookout for the links down below. Like Cernock said, he does have a Grailed link down there. We got all kinds of other things that we use in the reselling world, or it's things that we recommend as far as products, items, links. We're not trying to recommend something that we wouldn't use, but we definitely have a lot of things down there that could be good to help you in your reselling journey. May not fit for everybody, but there's something for a little bit of everybody there. And we're going to call it a day. I'll let these guys do their outro. Cernock.
Hey, hope you learned something about Grailed today. Hopefully, I brought another platform to take a look at, especially if you're a clothes seller, especially if you're menswear as well. I would say, listen, just go in and list it. And also, if you're on your cross-listing apps, go and put it on there and just fire away. You never know what those eyeballs on those other platforms are going to see. So, leave a comment.
Leroy.
What's going on? Guys, I'm out of breath. I'm out of breath. I'm out of time. I'm out of energy. I haven't ate in about half hour. These guys have me talking about tools, and I'm worn out. I'm just worn out. But guys, I hope what I shared with you guys, me and Eric, and even the guys shared with you about it doesn't really have to do with just auction zip. It has to do with looking through the picture and seeing what's there. There's so many different ways to source, and even if you have to go out of town for a weekend just to source, that kind of stuff is always an option. So I appreciate you guys leaving questions for me, for Tim, for Cernock, for Eric. I appreciate it deeply, guys. Keep sending questions. And next week,
Tim, take us out.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we want to thank you guys, as always, for joining us here at the Reseller Information Network. It's been another lovely, amazing episode. We got to attack a bunch of different topics and questions. So do not forget, at the end of every episode, take a second, take a breath, jump on that comment section and drop us a question. It definitely helps us help you, and that's what we do here at the Reseller Information Network. So don't forget to tell a friend about our Reseller Information Network. Boo-doo, boo.